How do people? Right, I'm going to do a little bit of recording today. I've kind of been cracking on over Christmas to get some more done on the gsxr, but I'm going to try and record this stage. So it is mold making time basically for the fairings. So I won't rabble. I'll just quickly show you what I've done because I've mixed my gel coat up, so I need to kind of get on. But yeah, I'll show you what I've done now, and then I'll just stick you on a tripod and time lapse the rest. So that's all you really need to know. Right, there we go. Look. So that is obviously the side fairing. Is now in. I'm slowly walking around. I've hardly got any room in here. Yeah, so it's all sort of, all the flanges are done now, look. So all the flanges are done around the edge. So this is cardboard, and this sort of yellowy greeny stuff is filleting wax. But it's got a coat, well, it's got a lot of PVA release agent over it, so it looks matte and grainy in the picture, but well, it is matte and grainy. That's why it looks matte and grainy. But yeah, so all these flanges are done. See, what you want is you want your fiberglass to come over the edge and just have a little bit of excess, you see. And also you don't want the fiberglass to run underneath, else it will make a mechanical bond. So yeah, so this has taken me hours and hours and hours, and hopefully if I've got it right, this will release out of the mold. If I've got it wrong, I'm not going to record because I'll be swearing and crying. But yeah, so all the holes are filled up. You know, all the little holes are filled, the vents are filled, and yeah, it's got a release agent on it as well as being waxed. So there was no way I was taking a chance of it, you know, getting stuck in and not releasing. So this PVA, it's basically a barrier. So whatever happens, worst case scenario, I need to get some, you know, kind of, if it's stuck and it doesn't come off, if the mold doesn't come off, as long as you can release enough to get some water to go under it, it's water soluble, so the water will just melt it all, and yeah, it will release. So yeah, so anyway, fingers crossed, and we'll just start whacking some gel coat on it. Right, there we go. So we'll just literally, this is the gel coat, this is a tooling gel coat, and we literally just splodge it on all over, trying to get a reasonably uniform coat, but it's not too, you know, it's not rocket science. It doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, I'm going to get a smaller brush because I think that's going to be a pain. Ooh, dear me. So yeah, so we just splodge that on. I'm going to stick my mask on and shut up. Right, annoyingly, my time-lapse hasn't worked. It's done that a couple of times, and I don't know why, but I just literally put it on my face and pressed time-lapse, and it worked. So that was slightly annoying, but there we go. Look at how horrendous that actually looks. It's not the easiest of stuff to sort of brush on, actually. It's if you brush too hard, it just brushes through it. Like you can see there. Can you see that blue? Yeah, it's not like normal gel coat is slightly easier to put on, I find. But anyway, it doesn't really matter because it's the underneath side that we are, you know, that we need. Everything else goes on top of this, so it's kind of irrelevant. It might have another coat of gel coat, I'm not sure yet. I'll see how it goes. But yeah, so that's on. There's no going back now, so fingers crossed that it's all going to be okay. But yeah, it looks horrendous. I'm slightly embarrassed to show that, but there you go. You can obviously spray it on as well, which is sometimes what I do, but I'm in the garage and not in the workshop, so obviously spraying it on would get a really nice uniform coverage, but we have to sort of make do with what we've got in here. So, but yeah, so that's done. Right, so it's the next day for me, but it's the same day for you, if you know what I mean. But yeah, so yesterday I put another coat of the gel coat on. So we've got like a nice thick gel coat on it now. And it just gives us a tiny bit more insurance when it comes to sort of air voids or sort of pinholes between the matte and the gel coat. So we've got a nice thick coat of gel on that now. The next stage is to put what they call a coupling coat on. Don't really know what that means. I think it's basically it's like a clear resin, and I think it's just so that you can put the resin on and lay the mat in, dab the mat in, and to be able to see whether there's any air voids anywhere, because the tooling resin is actually coloured, so you can't see through it. So I think the coupling coat, that's the only thing I can think really, that you sort of have like a chance to see any air voids in it and sort of get them out. And if there is any air voids in it when it's dry, you can just Dremel the top off of the bubble and then just fill it with resin if it's, you know, if it's that bad. So I'm gonna put the coupling coat on, and then you let that dry off, and then you just scuff over it with a bit of sandpaper just to key it up again. And then you literally whack your layers up then to build it up with the tooling gel, the tooling resin. So but I'm going to try and put it on time lapse again. I can't guarantee that it's going to work because it didn't yesterday, but there's no point in me trying to talk while I'm doing it because I'm going to have my mask on, and all you're going to hear is and that's no good. So that's what I'm going to do. There's no point in showing you this either at the minute because it looks exactly the same. It's just, well, look, just black and horrible. So yeah, I'm gonna get my gloves on, get some bits mixed up and some matte ready cut. Oh, so this is the matte. I think it's either 80 gram or 100 gram. I can't remember. I'll have to go back and have a look. But it's quite a fine, thin mat, and it'll kind of, you know, it'll lay in all the crevices nicely because it's a thinner weight. So so yeah, that is for your coupling coat and your coupling resin. And then, like I say, we'll go. I think it's 3 or 4 layers of 450 gram on top of that, so it makes a nice sort of 5 mil thick mold, and it's a really nice stable mold. So yeah, I'm going to stop waffling and get on. Right, there we go. So we've got our first layer on. That's kind of like the first initial gentle sort of layer. So it's, I think it's 100 gram. I think, I can't remember, but it's a really light. There we go. Look, it's a really light mat, so it conforms really easily to all the shapes and the contours. So that is done. So that is the first stage. I've just literally gone over it really quickly just to nib off any high spots. It's obviously dry now. It's not solid, but it's dry enough for me to have gone over it and nibbed off any bits that were sticking up. I don't think there's any air voids in it at all. If there is, this is the sort of stage where you want to do them. Just sort of Dremel it out and put a bit of resin in, but it all looks pretty good. There might be the odd tiny one here or there, but if there is any, it will be sort of like on a, so you can see that there, that's where I've rubbed that down. That was a little void, but that will actually fill with resin, no problem. If you've got any sort of big deep ones, you would Dremel it out and then just blob some resin in prior to putting the mat on and whatnot. But yeah, it all seems pretty good. No issues anywhere. So that's the first sort of bonding layer, and now I can literally just fire. I think it's 450 now, 450 gram mat. I can literally just fire that on top of this, and then it's done. It's that easy, although it's not that easy, but yeah, I mean, that is the sort of gist of it. Now we've got that all laid down nice. It's just had a key over as well quickly, but it is still sort of soft. It's not rock hard, so the tooling resin will adhere to this no problem.